So, hey guys, how's it going? So, I guess now we're going to start with some JavaScript and jQuery. Um, now, uh, first of all, you may ask yourself, well, where do we put JavaScript in our web page? Okay, well, exactly where do we start? Well, if we are including a jQuery file, we'll do it here, okay, in much the same way that we would include our CSS file. All right. Now, but, when our code starts to operate, right, when our code starts to do its magic and move around and twist and turn and change elements, any of these elements on our web page, okay, here I have an input box, another input box, and a button. Really, it's an anchor tag. Before we do that, we want to make sure that all of these things have been fully loaded. Okay? Now, maybe there's an image, maybe there's a picture that we want to change, we want to increase its size, we want to change or manipulate it in some way. But if it hasn't loaded, okay, if it has not loaded, that's going to be a problem, right? So what we do is we take our script tag, okay, here's my opening script tag, here's my closing script tag, and we put that right before the body tag, okay, or the closing body tag. You can see how that's a closing body tag, right? So then we know that all of our HTML, okay, everything has loaded and gotten itself into memory. Okay, so now we know that in some cases that might be a lot of stuff. Okay, that might be a lot of stuff. There may be a lot of images in there. There may be a lot of things going on, okay? And in which case, we want to be very careful and we want to be sure that we put it at the end, okay? And you can see here that, for example, in this case, down here, I've got a function rotate text, some JavaScript. I've got here some more rotate images, a bunch of JavaScript, right? And all this JavaScript, I put it way down here, right before the body. Okay, and that's very common practice. That's very standard. Okay, and all right. So, before we get into this very simple start here, let's ask ourselves, hey, what can we do with JavaScript and jQuery and also Node.js? Okay, Node.js. You've probably heard of Node.js. And, well, there's a lot of things you can do with JavaScript. And maybe you want to build some phone applications, right? If you're a web developer, you're going to use lots of CSS and HTML and JavaScript, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if your backend language is PHP or not. You're still going to need JavaScript, okay? It's still going to need it, right? And so maybe say, well, hey, I want to build a phone app, right? I want to build something for my iPhone. Well, guess what? You can do it with Cordova, right? Cordova and PhoneGap, right? Adobe PhoneGap, right? Build amazing mobile apps powered by open web tech, right? Where is it? Well, let's come. Okay, so here's the thing. PhoneGap is built on. It's built on top of it. PhoneGap is Cordova. Okay, and I mean, Cordova is the fundamental. I don't have time to explain it in this video, But really, they're about 98% the same thing. You can search online yourself. You will discover, I guarantee you, it's really just a difference in name. Okay? All right. So on my channel, we're also going to learn how to build these. Build phone applications using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, and yes, we're going to have to know some Node.js. We're going to need to do a lot of that stuff. Okay, or not a lot of it, but some of it. Do you need to build a web application, a website, or some, a web-based API? Maybe your currency calculations or some financial. Maybe you want to set up build an API dealing with currency transactions, and you want to supply that to some people in the financial industry, right? You don't need to do that in Node.js. You do that. Just do that in PHP, right? But if you want to use your skills for example, you want to build these phone applications, right, for your iPhone, you can do, you want to use this framework, you're going to need to use Node.js. Now, hey, you know what else? Guess what else? You can build desktop applications, okay? Desktop applications with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, right? And it's called the Electron Framework. Totally awesome, totally cool. And so you're also going to need to know some Node.js for that. But don't go trying to build basic web applications with Node.js when you don't need to. Really, there's absolutely no need for that. PHP is 10 times better for that. Okay, most of the time. All right? Far better, far quicker. It's almost as quick when you're dealing with multiple users, but not always. For most web applications, it's going to be a lot quicker in terms of getting it done, finishing it, and not having to mess around. So, but you're going to need to know some Node.js. You're going to need to know JavaScript. All right? And JavaScript is a pretty cool language. I don't mind it at all. In terms of the syntax, there are things I like about it more than PHP. For example, you can see here when we invoke a method, here a method or a property of an object, we can do that with a dot operator, right? We can do that like this, full name dot, and wow, we can invoke these fun methods right on the end of it. And we can do that instead of using, remember PHP's syntax? Do you remember that? We had my object and, then some function, right? And that's not necessarily very fun to do that. It involves some extra typing, and the typing you do is a little bit cumbersome, but it's not a big deal really. Okay, so in the next video we are going to come back to where we are here right now and do some basic stuff. All right.